Commercial drones are great news for the UK economy, but I also think that there are tragic implications of drones for the environment and for human well-being. I think we're at a crossroads, and it's a really important decision which direction we take. Amazon has announced that drone deliveries of parcels are coming to the UK in 2024. This already exists in other parts of the world. I hadn't quite realised how close this possibility actually was. In fact, I've discovered that the UK government's vision is that commercial drones will be commonplace in the UK by 2030. PW estimates that by 2030 there'll be at least 900,000 drones in UK skies. To compare, there are currently 6,000 planes in the air in any one day in the UK. So if all 900,000 drones are airborne at the same time, the UK sky is going to look very different than it does now. So we are at the crossroads, but it looks like the decision has already been taken. There's an interesting question here. Who owns the sky? I'm not sure of the legalities of this, but the state has claimed the right to monetize the sky in terms of air traffic. This is an additional way in which the sky will be commercialized and sold. I'm wondering why we haven't had some kind of debate about this. There again, I'm not surprised that there's not any debate. The business agenda takes absolute precedence here, and there are so many commercial advantages to this drone revolution. Not least, there's going to be some very strong positive economic effects, and ultimately this will create growth and jobs, which is highly desirable, especially with the state of the UK economy at the moment. PwC has made projections on the economic impact of commercial drones by 2030. They say that commercial drones will contribute £45 billion to the UK economy, that they'll provide cost savings of £22 billion, that they'll create more than 650,000 jobs, and that they'll save 2.4 million tonnes of carbon emissions, equivalent to taking 1.7 million cars off the road. There is zero emission alternative to delivery vans on our roads. So it seems like a no-brainer. Massive economic benefits, growth, jobs, good for the environment. What's not to like? You can understand why the government has grabbed onto this in terms of that 2030 vision. No one can deny these benefits. However, the evidence that exists suggests that there's actually significant public opposition to drones being used for commercial deliveries. PwC data shows high levels of support for the use of drones in search and rescue, natural disasters, tracking criminals, etc. For these uses, 80 to 90% of the public are in favour. However, only 26% support drone delivery of packages. A survey in Germany shows slightly higher support, but still a minority, 30 to 40% in favour. This German research identifies a phenomena similar to NIMBY in relation to house building. People support houses being built but not near them. They call it NOMO, not over my own house. Opposition to commercial drones is higher when it might go over someone's home. From an environmental perspective, as we've already noted, drone deliveries appear to be a sustainable choice given their zero-emission nature. However, I think that there are some important ecological questions that don't seem to be being addressed in any systematic way. There are two particular issues here. First, drones are currently very noisy. The sound's being compared to a lawnmower. If your next door neighbour is a shopaholic, there may be a stream of deliveries to their garden. Currently, the drones can only carry small parcels around 2.3 kilograms or £5 and to a maximum size of a shoebox. So this means that for someone who uses it a lot, there may be a lot of deliveries. The noise pollution is hardly mentioned in any of the discussion. This is an important environmental cost that absolutely should be taken into account. One person's delivery causes noise pollution for many people. Second, very little consideration seems to have been given to the potential impact of drones on animals, particularly birds. Although drones have been lauded for their utility and conservation efforts, filling the sky with drones potentially will have a dramatic effect on wildlife. There has been an instance in Australia where a raven swooped down on a drone delivering a coffee. You can see this on YouTube. Search for raven attacks drone delivering coffee. This clip also gives an indication of how noisy the drones are. So I do think the environmental issues need more attention. There's a final point that I personally think is really important. What does all this mean in terms of human well-being? Some people may accuse me here of woo-woo economics, but I think this is really important. I've worked for decades as an economist with industries all over the world. I appreciate the positive economic impact that new technologies can have, as outlined earlier. However, as we've become more aware of the climate crisis, more and more I have trouble with the economic orthodoxies advocating growth, growth, growth. The story on the BBC website about Amazon includes a video of a man in America receiving a delivery by drone in his garden. He points out that he gets his delivery in 20 to 30 minutes and that it's much quicker than having to run to the store and get this stuff. What are we actually encouraging here? A lot of us sit at our desks all day, and going to the store may be one of the main activities where our bodies actually move. This is potentially so damaging. Consume, 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 and all from the comfort of your own garden chair. This I want it and I want it now mentality is potentially a reason why mental health issues are at an all-time high. I think we should just pause before we open this new economic frontier. I think there are also some issues that arise in terms of a more holistic approach to well-being beyond orthodox economics. Is the sky there to be commercially exploited? Is there an arrogance in assuming that it's there for commerce to colonize? Do we want to look up and see drones constantly passing by? I think the colonization of upward space could have a dramatic effect on humanity. It's going to look ugly, and it kind of puts a wall between us and the sky. It potentially transforms our skies into a cacophony of mechanical buzzing, affecting the aesthetic and psychological dimensions of human experience. In conclusion, the advent of drone deliveries in the UK presents a complex web of economic opportunities and challenges. While the economic benefits are persuasive, and they really are, they must be balanced against legitimate public, environmental and ethical concerns. As the UK moves towards a future where the sky may be as busy as the streets, public discourse and regulatory oversight must play crucial roles in shaping this aerial frontier. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks for watching and see you next time.